Hey, what's good, motivators? Jimmy V here, and today I wanted to talk to all of my active duty service members. By the end of this video, if you're an active duty service member, you're going to know exactly what you need to do in order to utilize your VA home loan benefit in purchasing a home, whether it be at your existing duty station or the new duty station that you're PCSing to. Good to go? A lot of active duty service members are reaching out to me right now, and they're getting ready to PCS to a new duty station, and they simply want to know how exactly does it work, what are the information or what are the documents needed in order for me to be cleared hot and be able to put rounds down range with your VA home loan benefit in the next location. So I really want to kind of just park on that for a second and share with you some things that I think that you're going to need to be aware of. So that way, when you do go to your next duty station, you'll be able to experience that VA home loan buying process and really get into it without a hitch, all right? If you're getting ready to PCS, the mortgage lender's always going to ask you for a copy of your PCS order. So I'm gonna write that down here. Permanent change of duty station, your PCS orders. Why is this important? Well, because VA requires that you, as the active duty service member, are going to need to occupy that home as your primary address, okay, as your primary residence within 60 days, okay? You have to live in the home within 60 days after closing. Now, a lot of my active duty service members are reaching out to me from places like Germany, really Europe, and they're getting ready to PCS and they're getting ready to come here, but maybe it's not in the next 60 days. I want you to know that if you're deployed, you actually have additional time there, and VA actually allows you 12 months in order to occupy that home after your deployment. But I want to make something very clear to my active duty service members. This is important. When you're buying this new home coming from deployment, it has to be at or around the specific duty station that you're currently serving at, right? So we can't send our family to Arizona and us be stationed in Texas because we're not going to occupy the home as the active duty service member as our primary residence. So if you were PCSing to Laughlin Air Force Base, you would have to buy a home around the San Antonio area to call it your primary residence. Roger that. If you're getting ready to PCS, it's also important that the mortgage originator, somebody like myself, is getting a copy of your LES report. That's obviously going to be required as well, your leave and earnings statement. The mortgage originator has to be competent enough to know that if you send me an LES report, it's not going to reflect your, here's another term we'll write down, I know you guys know what this is, BAH. It's not going to reflect the appropriate BAH from the duty station that you're relocating from. So I have to determine what your LES looks like by calculating the proper BAH for the specific duty station that you're PCSing to and use the, once again, appropriate BAH for qualification purposes. The other thing that I want you to know, and this is something that's very important, we see this happen a lot. If you're an active duty service member, you're PCSing to a new duty station, but you have, hear me out on this, less than 12 months remaining on contract, VA makes us as originators document your file from a couple of different other ways. On your LES report, we're aware that there's a specific terminology called ETS, expiration term of service. And if it's greater than 1 year, we have to show one of two things. If you're exiting the military with less than 12 months, then I have to be able to show what you're going to be doing when you EAS from the Marine Corps, Air Force, etc. And if you don't have a job offer lined up yet, the mortgage lender is not going to be able to pre-qualify you for the specific amount that you're seeking because, well, we can't document what your job is going to be when you leave the military in less than 12 months. So how do we circumvent that? How do we adapt, improvise, and overcome? Well, the way to do it is if you are intending on re-enlisting, we get a letter from your career planner, and the career planner says that you are eligible for re-enlistment. We get a letter from you stating that you have intentions on re-enlisting. And lastly, we also need to make sure that your CO is on board and that they too sign off that you are intending on re-enlisting. Let's just say, for example, that we check those boxes. You're good to go because you're intending on re-enlisting. And again, what if you're not? As long as, going back to that hire letter, I can show what your income is going to be, well, then I can use one of two things. Either your new job contract that shows kind of start date, what your expected income is going to be, and I'm gonna mirror that against against your existing income in the military. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the lesser of the two for kind of conservative approaches to qualifying you properly, and you then would be eligible or pre-qualified from this particular standpoint for the VA home loan. So let me know if you guys are tracking. Let me know if you have any questions over any of that. Drop a comment down below and I'll personally make sure that it's answered for you. So that's a little bit about kind of what happens if you're less than 12 months. Now, really quick, what happens if you're active duty and you're getting ready to retire? Fairly simple. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take your time and grade and I'm gonna compare that on the DFAST chart to show what your projected retirement is going to be once you exit from the military. And that is something that we, as mortgage originators and lenders, can actually use for qualifying purposes. Okay, you good to go on that? Let me know if you have any other questions. Again, drop a comment down below and I'll make sure that I answer it for you. If you're getting ready to go out there, it's incredibly important, if you're PCSing, to kind of lock arms with the appropriate mortgage originator who really understands the VA home loan process, because what you don't want to have happen is you to start the process, they don't require or request the specific information, you think that you're cleared hot, only to find out that they didn't pre-qualify you properly. I know some really good mortgage loan originators across the country, and I'm telling you that they have personally reached out to me because they've missed things like this, because they don't know how to properly read an LES report. They don't know what ETS, BAH, BAS, all those fun things that we know about as active duty service members and veterans, all right? If you have questions, I'm here to be a resource. If you want to learn more about VA home loans, consider subscribing to the channel and know that my team and I are always here to be a resource for you. We serve veterans all across this great nation, and I just want to say I appreciate you guys. I'll see you at the top.
Appreciate you.